Our tale opens on a 14-year-old girl named Mattie Ross, arriving in a new town by train alongside a man called Arnold. Disembarking, she heads directly for the mortuary, where a corpse is laid out. We quickly learn this deceased man is none other than her own father. Arnold inquires about the procedures required for them to claim the body. The attendant replies she simply needs to purchase the casket. Mattie settles the payment, instructing Arnold to transport the body home. She would follow along later on. She then asks the attendant if she might spend the night there. He permits her to remain with a warning: 3 additional corpses are expected soon. If their presence doesn't bother her, she is welcome. Mattie confirms she has no issue with it. The following day, she attends a public execution where 3 men are being put to death. The state is executing them for their crimes, as they are all convicted felons. The moment the sheriff gives the signal, all 3 are hanged. Mattie approaches him directly, demanding to know who murdered her father. His name, the sheriff reveals, is Tom Chaney. Mattie insists that he be brought to justice immediately. She wants to see him hang for his deed. The sheriff explains this will be incredibly difficult. Tom Chaney is a truly formidable man, having just partnered with a notorious major gang. They have since ransacked every outpost. A local sheriff is no match for him. This job now falls to the U.S. Marshals. They alone have the capacity to capture Tom. Hearing this news, Mattie feels a wave of disappointment. She realizes the situation will drag on, with Tom remaining at large. Nobody would apprehend him or deliver any justice. However, Mattie is determined that Tom face punishment without delay. And to catch someone so dangerous, she needs an even more dangerous man. There is only one person who fits that description. His name is Rooster Cogburn. He is also a U.S. Marshal. Mattie seeks out Rooster to speak with him, but Rooster is intoxicated. Because of this, he won't even engage with Mattie. She returns to the mortuary and sleeps amongst the deceased. She is terrified throughout the night but refuses to leave her spot. In the morning, she visits the establishment from where her father had purchased a pony. She informs the proprietor that she wishes to sell her father's ponies, noting they are fine animals. The man then explains that when Tom murdered her father, he also stole his horse, leaving his own pony behind as a swap. Upon learning this, Mattie points out that she still possesses a pony, and that animal must be valuable. So how much could she get for all the animals? After a full calculation, the man offers $322. But a moment later, he rescinds the offer, saying he cannot purchase them. This infuriates Mattie, and she declares that she understands he is trying to trick her. You refuse to purchase the animals from me because you assume you can simply keep them without payment. But that will not be the case. If you perceive me as helpless, then you are gravely mistaken. I will involve the law and I will force this transaction. And the money that is owed to me, I will get even more. Faced with her threat, he concedes and agrees to pay the full amount. Now that Mattie has funds, she relocates to the boarding house where her father had stayed. She no longer wishes to reside with the dead. She speaks with the landlady, and the woman consents to let her have a room. But first, she hands over her father's belongings. Seeing them makes Mattie quite emotional. The next morning, she attempts to see Rooster once more, only to discover that he is currently under investigation in a courtroom. After entering, she listens in on the proceedings. It's revealed that Rooster has brutally killed 23 individuals. He is a marshal, but is only authorized to kill fugitives on the wanted list. According to Rooster's testimony, however, they were all bad men who were harassing innocent folks. This reveals just how dangerous Rooster truly is. He pays no attention to the law, doing whatever he feels is necessary. He is being investigated, but Rooster is unfazed. He exits the court and spots Mattie. Mattie approaches him. She explains that Tom murdered her father and remains free. I want you to capture and kill him. I can offer a reward of $50. Hearing this, Rooster scoffs. Go home, complete your schooling. Killing a man, seeking revenge, these are serious matters and not suitable for a child like yourself. With that said, he departs. Mattie realizes her youth is a disadvantage. Perhaps nobody will take her seriously, despite her being a resolute person. She returns to her room, pondering how to secure Rooster's services. He is the one person capable of killing Tom. She contemplates this through the night. Upon waking the next morning, she finds a man seated before her, identifying himself as a Texas Ranger. His name is Lawburf. He explains his background to Mattie. He is a ranger, and Tom recently murdered a man in Texas. Ever since that incident, everyone has been hunting for him, and Lawburf is here to apprehend Tom. He says to Mattie, "I am aware you are hunting him too, and that you need someone to kill Tom. I can perform this task for you." Hearing his offer, Mattie responds that she will entrust this job only to Rooster. That is precisely why she is here. She does not want anybody else for this assignment besides Rooster. Lawburf then departs, and Mattie heads to the proprietor's office to collect her money. The man stalls, clearly reluctant to part with the funds. He knows $320 is a significant sum, but he must pay up. He understands he cannot risk getting tangled in a legal dispute, and Mattie's claim about her father's ponies and other assets is undeniably strong. The moment Mattie receives her payment, she purchases an inexpensive horse for her own use and finds Rooster. She discovers that Rooster is still under the influence. Upon seeing Mattie, he asks what she wants. Mattie declares that she needs him to kill Tom. "Because you are the only one for the job, and I refuse to let anyone else handle this task but you." After some thought, Rooster accepts. He knows that his superiors are watching him, and he desperately needs the cash. It's possible he'll be dismissed from service soon. He tells Mattie, "I will take the job, but my price is $100. Mattie is furious and accuses him of demanding double just because she is a young girl. Rooster replies, "Look, kid, don't play games. If you found someone to do it for less, then hire them." So Mattie consents, but states that she has a condition. Rooster asks, "What is it?" She replies, "I must accompany you." Rooster states that is impossible. The area where Tom is hiding is teeming with dangerous men, and he's recently allied himself with the most fearsome gang around. Bringing a child there is not a smart move. "I refuse to place you in harm's way. My focus must be on killing him, not on protecting you." "Why would you want to venture into such a perilous place?" Mattie then says, "That man murdered my father. He believes that after committing such a crime, he can walk around without consequence and nobody will touch him. But he is mistaken about the man he killed. His daughter will never let him live. When Tom finally dies, I want to look into his eyes and tell him that the man he murdered, I am his daughter." Upon hearing this, Rooster relents. Mattie then returns to the boarding house and gathers all of her father's belongings. She finds a gun and also takes his warm coat. In addition to this, she pens a letter to her mother, explaining that she is pursuing her father's killer alongside a marshal. When the murderer is dead, she will look him in the eye and know she has avenged her father. She is a truly determined girl. After mailing the letter, she proceeds directly to Rooster, only to find he has departed. However, he left a note behind for Mattie. In it, he wrote, "As promised, I will kill Tom. I am now pursuing him, but the territory ahead is far too dangerous, which is why I cannot bring you along. Attached to this note is a ticket. Use it to travel back to your home." Seeing this, Mattie is utterly devastated. She immediately begins to track Rooster. She spots Rooster on the opposite side of a river. He yells for Mattie to turn back, but she ignores him, plunging her horse into the current. With her mount, she fords the river and gets to the other bank. There, she discovers that Lawburf is with Rooster. Rooster tells Lawburf the girl is being obstinate and to discipline her. Lawburf then begins striking Mattie as a punishment, but she still refuses to back down. She declares, "Do what you must, but I am not leaving." Hearing her resolve, Rooster's stance softens, and Lawburf says to just let it go. She will accompany us now. When darkness falls, the trio makes a fire and passes the time together. At first light, Mattie confronts Rooster, asking him why Lawburf is present and what sort of arrangement the two of them have. Rooster clarifies that they plan to capture Tom together and transport him to Texas. A bounty is on his head there. He will face trial and they will collect the reward money. Hearing this, Mattie protests that this is unacceptable. "I am paying you $100 so that man faces retribution and knows he is dying for murdering my father. If you take him to Texas, the trial will drag on forever, and he'll believe his punishment is for his Texas crimes, when he must die for what he did to my father. Their conversation is underway when Laberf approaches, which then sparks a heated argument between him and Rooster. Laberf becomes so enraged that he declares, "From this point forward, I am done with you," and he rides off alone. Rooster and Mattie continue their journey onward. In Rooster's estimation, Tom should be in the area they have reached. But he soon discovers that Tom is already gone. He does, however, find a small nugget of gold. Both Rooster and Mattie are now optimistic they are on the correct trail. If Tom has recently departed from this spot, he could not have gotten very far. They press on with their search. Soon, they discover a corpse that has been strung up in a tree. Mattie is certain that the deceased man is not Tom. She scales the tree and cuts the body down. Once it has fallen, she confirms that it is indeed not Tom's body. Just then, a stranger approaches them. He says, "I have no business with you folks. I am only here for this corpse." After his statement, he collects the body and departs, so they continue onward. A short time later, Rooster mentions that he thinks somebody is trailing them. The moment they halt, they spot another man on horseback. Draped over his horse is the very same corpse they had seen just a short while before. Rooster engages this man in conversation. The stranger explains, "I have no quarrel with you. My business was with the man who was taking this body. I killed him, so this corpse is now under my authority. I intend to hang it back up on that same tree." Rooster asks him to direct them to any nearby shelter. He responds, "Yes, there is a man called Grieger. You can stay with him, but be warned, dangerous men are there." Rooster and Mattie both make their way there. They observe that the chimney is smoking, which signifies that people are currently inside. And they might be hostile, so just walking inside is a bad idea. First, Rooster instructs Mattie to climb onto the roof. "And take my coat with you. When I give the signal, you cover the chimney with it. Then the smoke will begin to pour back inside." Mattie follows his directions. She gets on the roof. Rooster then shouts and informs everyone, "We need to stay here for the night. We haven't come here to cause trouble for anyone, so come out peacefully. We want to see you." But he receives no reply. He then signals Mattie, and Mattie blocks the chimney. The instant the occupants see this, they open fire. Then Rooster returns fire. There are two men inside the cabin. One of them is called Moon. When Moon is wounded, they cease their shooting. Then Rooster enters the cabin with Mattie and demands of them, "Where will I find Tom?" They remain silent. He then speaks to Moon. "You've been shot in the leg. If it goes untreated, they will amputate your leg, and I am the only one who can treat it. Tell me where Tom is." He gives up information about Tom, and also warns that more men will arrive soon. But he gives the precise location of Tom. Before that, though, his companion slices off his fingers and stabs him in the neck. Rooster immediately kills his companion. Moon is barely alive. With his dying breaths, he reveals how many men are expected to arrive here and when they will show up. The man who is on his way is named Nate. He has an entire gang. They ascend to a higher position and wait. Then, Laberf arrives. But before they can speak with Laberf, Nate appears. He and his gang assault Laberf. They rope him to their horse and begin to drag him. In order to rescue Laberf, Rooster is forced to open fire. He shoots everyone, but Nate is not yet dead. He manages to escape. They then carry Laberf inside, tend to his wounds, and depart at sunrise so they can find Tom with all possible speed. Now their trek resumes. After several more days, while they are taking a break, an argument erupts between Rooster and Laberf. Rooster is extremely frustrated. He tells Laberf their agreement could collapse at any moment because they now have absolutely no idea where they might encounter Tom. They have no leads. They've already dispatched the very men who could provide them with information. Laberf is also incensed. He also feels that it is time for him to depart. Then Rooster stops him. He tells Laberf there is no point in staying here. "I was shot in my arm and my tongue was bitten, and there is no clear path to capturing Tom. I am leaving." He departs and the other two sleep. The moment Mattie awakens, she heads toward the river. There, she spots a man. Looking at him closely, she notices a distinctive scar upon his face. According to every account, this specific mark belongs only to Tom Chaney. Tom begins to advance slowly. She then produces her father's pistol and fires at him. Tom is wounded by the shot but keeps coming. He pushes forward, seizes Mattie, and drags her to the far bank. Rooster, however, heard the gunshot. He arrives and opens fire, but they have already moved on. Still, Rooster continues shooting. We then see that Nate is present as well. He throws Mattie down and yells to Rooster, "If you fire even one more bullet, we will kill this girl." Seeing the situation, Rooster also grows calm and ceases his firing. The gang departs with Mattie, but the circumstances are unclear. Then Nate questions Mattie, "Tell me, what is a little girl like yourself doing way out here? And what's your business with a marshal?" She then recounts her entire story, how Tom murdered her father, and how she came seeking vengeance. Nate then approaches Tom and informs him, "We have too many men and not enough horses. We require another mount." He instructs Tom to remain behind and guard the girl. "We will go and fetch another horse, but this girl must not be harmed. If you do anything at all to her, then I won't pay you a single cent." Having said this, Nate and his men ride away. The moment they are gone, Tom assaults Mattie, placing a knife against her throat. But before he can kill her, Lobberf appears and strikes Tom on the head. Tom collapses unconscious. Below them, they see Rooster has intercepted Nate's gang members. It is clear that Rooster has no intention of letting them escape. The battle commences. Four riders are charging from one direction, with Rooster advancing alone to meet them head-on. Rooster displays his legendary skill here. The moment he has them in his sights, he guns down 3 men. But Nate is a deadly opponent himself. He shoots Rooster's horse right out from under him. Nate then moves in to finish Rooster. But from another vantage point, we see Lobberf, who has taken aim at Nate. He fires from a great distance and, with a single shot, kills Nate instantly. We then see Tom has regained consciousness. He grabs a rock and smashes it against Lobberf's head. Mattie then retrieves the gun and fires directly into Tom's chest, killing him. However, after the shot was fired, the pistol's recoil was so powerful that it knocked her backward into a deep pit below. She lands inside and sees numerous venomous snakes. One of them strikes and bites her on the hand. But before the other snakes can attack her, Rooster descends into the pit. First, he kills all the serpents. Then he begins sucking the poison from Mattie's wound. But Mattie is still in terrible shape. He climbs out and tells Lobberf that he will send assistance for him, because Lobberf is also badly wounded. He takes a horse and rides on. Before she dies, he must get her to a doctor. After traveling halfway, the horse collapses and perishes. Then Rooster lifts her onto his shoulder and continues on foot. After some time, he finally reaches the doctor. When the physician sees Mattie, he states that her arm must be amputated. He cuts off her arm and she survives. Now time passes. Many years have gone by, and Mattie is an adult. She recently received a letter from Rooster saying he was coming to a nearby city. Mattie travels there, but upon arriving, she learns that Rooster passed away 3 days prior, and his body remains unclaimed. Seeing this, Mattie says, "I wish to take his body." She brings his remains home and buries him in her family plot, and often comes to stand by his grave. We learn that after that ordeal, Mattie never married and no longer knows Lobberf's whereabouts. But she is content that she avenged her father's murder. And that journey with Rooster made her incredibly strong. With that, the film concludes.